There are exactly 10 steps between you and a battle-tested process in an AI native business. And that's an internal workflow, an agent, or a product that you sell. And here's the part that breaks people's brains. Only one of those 10 steps actually involves AI. And it's the easy part. The other 9 are where the hard work really goes in. And they're also the 9 that I see everybody skip, which is exactly why most AI projects die in a slick demo and never actually have any real business results. Now, I run a 7-figure software company in about 10 hours a week, and now I'm helping founders and business leaders like you win with AI, just like I have. And I just ran the whole process I use with clients through these 10 steps. And so let me give you the entire sequence in order and show you exactly where the one AI step lands. It's step 4, just so you know, and honestly, it's the easiest of the whole list. And I call this the AI native sequence. It's 10 steps. Think of it as a 9 to 1. 9 human steps wrapped around one AI step. And that's really the power here. Because I think everyone obsesses over the one, the AI, the sexiness, if I can say that. But the leverage is in the other 9. That's really where you get real business results, which I think is why we're all here. So let's run through them in order. I'll flag the AI step the second we hit it. Okay, step 1 is to identify the problem. And I mean a real one. So turn AI mode in your brain off, right? And turn on what I call the valley. Look for the valley. You know, that part of your week that quietly makes you groan and say, do I have to do this again? That manual, repetitive thing that's actually worth automating. How do you get out of the valley? And most people do this backwards. They start with a solution, not the problem. They go hunting for a place to use AI, but you're not looking for a place to use AI. You're looking for something that's broken and kind of sucks in your business. And here's the free lunch, like nobody mentions. Just mapping out that constraint makes your business more efficient, even if you never add a single piece of AI. So do this now. Pause the video. Write down 3 things this week that made you think there has to be a better way. You know that feeling. That's your list. Okay, step 2 is to understand the workflow around this problem we just identified. So take the thing from step 1 and map how people actually do the work today, not how the org chart says it in ideal terms. Grab a literal sheet of paper or open Excalidraw, I don't really care, and draw the workflow from start to finish. Every step, every handoff, every ugly wart that you don't want to admit to anyone, and then we wait for bill and accounting. And this is the least sexy step of the entire list, but hang on with me, okay? And it's where most people who are genuinely good at AI transformation spend most of their time. Those $400,000 a year forward deploy engineers or GTM engineers or whatever you want to call them. Because here's the rule. Before you can reimagine a process, you have to become an expert in that process. And so you either bring business context to yourself or you embed someone in the business unit to absorb it. An engineer I work with did this exact thing. They parked themselves in the business unit they were supposed to help with until they understood the workflow cold and then rebuilt it. And so do this yourself. Don't touch a tool, don't open AI until you can draw the current process from memory. Okay, step 3 is to collect the data. These are the inputs, sample documents, past examples, both good and bad, weird edge cases, the stuff the process actually runs on. And here's exactly what I did for my content machine. To test automated like ideation, I pulled a pile of the latest Slack messages, Notion transcripts, call recordings, the raw materials that my ideas actually come from. And to teach it my voice, I grabbed years of old Twitter and LinkedIn posts and podcast episodes and turned them into markdown files of how I actually write. That's the raw data. So do this before you go build anything. Collect a folder of real examples, good enough that you could hand it to a new employee tomorrow and they could get the job done. And from this, you can do things like build style guides and consolidated reference documents that synthesize the learnings from the source docs, but keep the source docs because that's gold in your next system. And speaking of gold, I think when it comes to marketing in particular, regardless of the tools you're using, you've probably noticed the same problem I have. They're great at answering questions, but don't actually deliver a lot of work. And that's why Ahrefs built Agent A. Agent A is a marketing agent with full access to your Ahrefs data. So instead of just giving suggestions, it can analyze competitors, find content gaps, identify keyword cannibalization, audit your site's technical health, build content calendars, track AI visibility, monitor brand mentions, and even create reports and strategies with you. And what makes this different is that it isn't limited to just the public API. Agent A has access to the same Ahrefs data and reports available inside the platform, including Site Explorer, Keyword Explorer, Content Explorer, Rank Tracker, and a whole lot more. It also comes pre-built with marketing skills, so you can run things like content gap analysis, backlink prospecting, keyword research, AI mention audits, and technical SEO investigations without spending hours writing prompts. And because it connects with tools like Notion, Slack, HubSpot, WordPress, and Linear, it can deliver work directly to the tools your team's already using. And if you want an AI that does more than chat and actually helps you execute your marketing, check out Agent A from Ahrefs using the link in the description below. And thanks so much to the Ahrefs team for sponsoring this video. Okay, step 4, and this is it, the AI step. The one, the singular AI step is to build the system. And this is the part everyone thinks is the entire project. And it's the one step out of 10. And now whether you're an engineer or a subject matter expert just clicking around in a tool, the only goal here is to test a single hypothesis. That is, there's a better way to do this thing for you. You are customer zero, and that's it. Don't worry about clean code. Don't worry about scale. Don't worry about perfection. Don't worry about what anyone else could ever use this tool for. Prove this magic exists for one person in one workflow in one situation. And notice, we're 4 steps in, and this is the first time AI has even shown up. And hold on to that, because that's the whole point of this video, really. Okay, step 5, test it and iterate it. Now let's make it good. We've proved that it works for you initially. Now beat it up. Run real work through it. Hunt for edge cases. Try to break this and feed every break back into the system, and it should self-improve on its own. And here's the mental model. Before you take a process from a single player, just you using it, to multiplayer, where a bunch of people depend on it, you want it to have survived as many rounds of real work and feedback as you possibly can throw at it. Because there's an element of like social capital at your business that you may burn with new AI tooling. You get it wrong and you won't get another good shot at this. And the move here is turning the thing into a self-improving loop before you scale it and risk that social capital, not after. So do this. Like, don't ship to the team on day 1 when you've finished your MVP version. Ship it the day that you can't break it anymore. And as a quick aside here, because this is exactly the kind of thing that I teach live. Once a month, I run a free masterclass where I take one of these concepts and build a system end-to-end on real businesses. There's a link in the description below if you want to join, entirely free. Okay, on to step 6, integrate with a live system. Up until now, we've been testing kind of in a sandbox, right? Point in time data, a frozen snapshot of the real world kind of messy situation that I'm sure is all of our businesses. And that's perfect for proving the workflow out. But before this goes into real production, it has to run on live data. And for my content machine, that meant wiring this into things like Notion, Gmail, Slack on the input side, so ideation pulls from what's actually happening this week, not just lame, sterilized, made-up examples. And on the output side, into Twitter, Substack, and LinkedIn, content that I can publish. So the model here is we want snapshot for testing, live wired data for production. And so let's do this. List every system that this process can touch, and don't call it real and ready to share with your team until it's pulling real live data. Okay, step 7 is to roll this out to your team and properly onboard them. Now it goes out to other humans and faces the reality. Maybe this is a link somewhere. Maybe it's in GitHub. Maybe it's an internal tool you publish. It doesn't really matter. What matters here is the unglamorous part, is you personally holding your peers through the process and onboarding them for the first time. And by the way, a little insider secret here, in our agency work where businesses have hired us to help implement AI systems just like this in their business, this is the one step that gets the biggest ROI when done correctly. And when we get pushback and can't operate like we want, it makes projects fail more than anything else. Because this is where a lot of internal tools go to die. They get launched in a Slack message that nobody reads, and that's the end of it. And the champion wonders why they spent so much time building this thing and nobody's getting real value. So don't do this. Don't just announce it, but sit down with a few people in a really specific group and actually watch how they use it. And that's worth more than any document that you could write. Okay, step 8 to drive adoption. And this one's pretty simple, but not easy. There's a big difference there often. The formula is really simple. Introduce a workflow that saves someone real time or makes them more productive, and that fits the behavior they already have. So there's no kind of education tax here. People adopt things that make their lives easier and don't force them to learn a new thing. But the real unlock is like cultural almost, at least in my business. You want adoption tracked, feedback celebrated, and the most important here, new and creative use cases turn into this kind of social currency inside your organization. When the person who finds a clever new use of the thing that gets status for it inside your company, you've won. And here it spreads on its own. So do this. The first time someone uses your tool in a way that you didn't expect, make a big deal out of it. That's how it goes viral internally, right? Share it and celebrate it. Okay, step 9, empower contribution and feedback. I like to treat our process like an open source project. The goal is to turn users into contributors. And by contribution here, I don't mean code necessarily, although in my company, everybody can contribute code. And some people might not in yours, but most of your team should contribute by adding ideas and feedback to some kind of board that the makers and maintainers of this product actually use. And the point here is that everyone, like whether they're technical or not, feels like a builder and a contributor of this thing, and they take ownership of it, not just a consumer of it. Because people protect and improve what they've helped to build. It's just human psychology. And so do this. Put up a simple board or document somewhere, tell people that their ideas land there, and then visibly ship out a few of the solutions for ideas that they contributed. Okay, step 10 is to measure and capture real value. That's why we're here. And how you do this depends entirely on which phase you're in. And most people get this backwards in my experience. If you're in the kind of experimental phase, early, just really deploying AI in a meaningful way, in your company, I would forget about ROI. That's not the goal right now. I know that's finance's goal, but as a business leader, that shouldn't be your goal. The goal right now is to get people throwing a lot at the wall and see what sticks and really makes a difference. You don't want to be too scientific about it because that'll really constrain the process. Your intuition is more than enough to tell you what's already working and what isn't. And measuring, in my experience, is just too hard. It's too early and it kills that experimental phase that we need to let this thing breathe. But once you're in the scale up phase, when you've done this a few times and you have actual systems running and you need hard ROI to be real, now this is where it counts, and it has to show up in one of 3 places. You reskill the people attached to the process so they do higher value work. You undershoot the hiring pain, the roles you don't have to backfill because the system has absorbed them, or you measurably move a business number, average contract value, conversion rate, sales cycle speed. That's the ROI. Everything before that is just permission to experiment. So do this. Figure out which phase you're in first, because measuring a scale up like an experiment or an experiment like a scale up is how really good AI work gets killed by some of the wrong people in your business. Okay, so do we notice what just happened? 10 steps to transform your business into an AI native organization. And one of them, step 4, was AI. The other 9 were understanding the work, gathering the truth, testing it, wiring it up, and getting actual humans to use it and improve it. The AI is the easy part often. It's always going to be the easy part, and even more so in the future as the tools keep getting better. But the companies that win with AI aren't better at that one step. They're better at willing to do the unsexy other 9 steps. That's the sequence. 10 steps to make any process or any product AI native. And if you want to watch me walk through this process in a real business, I do a live, entirely free masterclass each month. Links in the description below. Come build with me. And now YouTube thinks you'll like this video next.